To talk more about it, let's bring in Ryan Stanko, who is the sports director at WJAC in State College.
And it comes down to rebounding. That's something that in tournament time travels. If you can rebound the basketball and you can be efficient on the offensive end of the floor and not turn it over, that's a recipe for success. Penn State sub 12 turnovers per game this year. That's a stat that's really jumped out at me because in the past that has not been a staple of Pat Chambers-led teams.
If you're a football fan, this is the best time of the year in central and western Pennsylvania, and you want to know why? Because high school football is finally back. What defense are we going to see? Is it going to be the defense from the first half of the season or the defense that maybe kind of faltered down the stretch? And we'll see if they bounce back and forth between Sean Clifford at quarterback and Will Levis, who both saw time at the end of the year. And run, Journey Brown, run. The sophomore showed out at the end of the year. Now, Game 6 in San Jose, not everybody in the crowd, or maybe everybody in the crowd knows, this man scored the game winner in that game. So let's talk about what it means to score a cup clinching. I mean, obviously that was early in the game, but that ended up being the game-winning goal. I mean, talk about that play. Sid went behind the net. You know, you came down and put it past Martin Jones. So to say that you have a cup clinching goal on your resume, I mean, is that something that, you know, is exciting? Is that, you know, one of the fondest goals you've ever scored?
The way you describe it makes it exciting.
And the wins just keep on coming for the Penn State men's basketball program. Saturday's domination of Northwestern stretched that winning streak to an incredible 8 games, and they had the Nittany Lions sitting pretty. Today, the latest AP poll came out, and it was another piece of history. Penn State climbs up to number 9, a feat that hasn't been achieved since February of '96. There were rumblings coming out of Cleveland that there might be a changing of the guard. Speaking of the power dynamic between these two foes and in this great rivalry. Well, somebody forgot to tell the Pittsburgh Steelers today because they went out and performed. Eventually, the puck is going to find Brian Rust, and he finds the back of the net. Team-leading 23rd goal for Rusty. In front of 110,600 plus, the Penn State Nittany Lions got their signature win of the young 2019 season. Penn State tops number 16 Michigan by a final score of 28-21. They sprinted out to a big lead in front of the raucous crowd here for the whiteout, and then things got dicey late. After 3 in the 4th, Brady, Gronkowski, fade, touchdown. Eagles now trailing by a point. The Patriots get their first lead. Gronk spike.
From the court to the mats tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Tomorrow we go swimming. It's that warm. Yeah. We got wrestling highlights, District 6 3A from Altoona. We also got district basketball championships in Mount Aloysius. So busy day.
Coach, not your cleanest half of football, but one scoring play where, you know, Jones gets behind the defense. What's going to be the message at halftime? Because you still are leading, even though it wasn't necessarily the cleanest half of football.
If I would have told you that the Steelers would be on quarterback number 3 and still competing in AFC North Division battles, you probably would have told me I was crazy, but that's precisely what happened here today. Let's now look back on the season that was for the Penn State football program. The 2018 season saw one of the greatest quarterbacks in school history, Trace McSorley, leave Beaver Stadium for the final time and paved the way for a spring quarterback competition ahead of the 2019 season. After the blue-white game, Tommy Stevens transferred to Mississippi State, meaning the job was Sean Clifford's. Clifford guided the Nittany Lions to routes of Idaho and Buffalo to begin the season, bringing Penn State to 15th in the country, setting up a showdown with Pitt. Noah Kane provided the only score of the third quarter from 13 yards out, staking Penn State to a 17-10 lead. Facing a 1st and goal to go for the Panthers, Penn State held Pitt out of the end zone and forced a field goal attempt. A 19-yard field goal hit the upright. No good. Pitt had one last try to tie the game, but the ball fell to the turf and Penn State escaped with the 17-10 win, remaining unbeaten.
You know, we're happy to be 3-1 in this series. We're happy to be 1-0.
The Nittany Lions climbed to 12th in the rankings and opened up Big Ten play with routes of Maryland on the road and Purdue at home to get to 5-0. What came next was a top 20 meeting with Iowa in Kinnick Stadium, a place historically it's been a house of horrors for Penn State. But the only horror was Penn State's defense for Iowa quarterback Nate Stanley. Iowa turned it over twice, the Nittany Lions didn't, and prevailed 17-12 to get to 6-0. Next was the annual whiteout with number 16 Michigan. The 7th-ranked Nittany Lions sprinted out to a 21-7 lead behind a pair of Sean Clifford touchdowns to KJ Hamler. Although Michigan fought almost all the way back, the defense once again rose to the occasion, keeping the Wolverines out of the end zone to preserve a 28-21 win.
We'll enjoy the win tonight. Tomorrow back in the film room and just, see who our next opponent is.
I mean, he even said on the one that he dropped that he owed me, so he got me back for that one.
A road rout at Michigan State pushed the Nittany Lions to a perfect 8-0 and into the college football playoff top 4 for the first time in school history. But a showdown with unbeaten Minnesota loomed. In front of a raucous crowd, the Minnesota defense picked off Sean Clifford twice and led 31-19 in the 4th quarter. But Clifford had one last chance on 3rd and 24 with a minute to play, trying to give the Nittany Lions the lead. His 3rd interception went down in the end zone, and it was the dagger. Now 9th in the country, Penn State got all it could handle from Indiana, but came out on top 34-27. And that set up the game of the year in Columbus. Penn State could salvage Big Ten title hopes and even college football playoff aspirations if they could knock off the 2nd-ranked Buckeyes, who hadn't been tested all season long. Trailing 21-0 in the 3rd, Penn State turned to quarterback Will Levis, and with the help of a pair of Buckeyes turnovers, got the Nittany Lions within 21-17 with a furious 3rd quarter rally. But the Buckeyes shut the Nittany Lions out in the 4th quarter, dropping Penn State to 9-2 with a 28-17 win.
When Sean went down, I knew, okay, it's my time to go. Threw a couple balls, I was ready to go. A little nervous the first couple plays, but it kind of just all went away.
I like to play with that swag. That's just, it trickled down from the top, man. I think everybody came out with a fire today.
Penn State returned home on senior day against Rutgers, and Journey Brown sent the 16-deep senior class off with a bang. A 3-touchdown performance that finished Penn State at 10-2 with a 27-6 win. And that senior class, it helped produce double-digit wins in 3 of 4 years, the first time that feat was accomplished since 1993 through 1996. Now, a win tomorrow would give the Nittany Lions their 2nd 11-win season, Josh, in the past 2 years. Good evening from here inside PNC Park once again. And for starter Chris Archer, he was acquired by the Buccos for days like this. The home opener, a guy you can give the ball to and expect to go out and dominate. In the spirit of this week's Buccos home opener, we're going back to the home opener on April the 12th, 1965 for this week's Throwback Thursday Sports Edition, when the Pirates welcomed the San Francisco Giants to Forbes Field, and WJAC cameras were there. Forbes Field is nothing but a memory to longtime Pirates fans, but those among the 28,000 plus in the stadium for the 1965 home opener were treated to one of the best pitching duels of the entire season. The great thing about it is, that's why they play the games. Myersdale's picked to be the top of the West Pack. Richland's trying to repeat in the LHAC. Belfont's a powerhouse in the Mountain League. Juniata Valley went the whole way to the PIAA semifinals last year out of the ICC. None of that means anything right now because the 2019 high school football season is upon us. And I'm going to say it again, that is why they play the games. Now we get to sit back, watch, and enjoy it, and watch the 10-week season and the postseason that follows play out. Ryan Stanko signing off one final time from Richland High School. Such gracious host. Thank you so much for being with us on the 2019 Six Sports High School Football Kickoff Special.